All right, welcome back, listeners, for another edition of Heads Up. And it's going to be one of those weekends where a lot of us have been waiting since last year when Winx won her second Cox Plate. And it looks like a certainty that, in fact, there's things that, welcome back, Money Shot, it looks like a certainty that, Sportsbet have already paid out. They think she's that much of a certainty. Is she that much of a certainty, you think?
Yes.
You think so?
In a word, yes.
Yeah.
She's just too good for the very best of the horses in Australia, and you could argue that the lineup on Saturday isn't really the very best that could be up against her. I think a few are running scared, so
Yeah,
she'll just win. Not really a betting proposition, more just to sit back, watch and admire, really. But got the right draw. She won't get blocked away on the fence, so I can't see anything probably getting within 4 or 5 lengths of her, really.
yeah. It's amazing the talk about the horses that finish behind her, how knackered they are for the next 2 or 3 days, and how they haven't performed since, or as well since. So she's just a machine, isn't she? And a true champion. And just going through the Cox Plate winners of previous years. And here's a question for you: there's 4 notable horses that have won the Cox Plate. What do these 4 horses have in common? Sunline, Northerly, Far Lap, and So You Think. And the Cox Plate, they have something in common. What is it?
Well, all 4 of those horses have won 2 Cox Plates,
Correct.
but they haven't won 3. I think Sunline probably was the only one that attempted 3 out of those 4. Of course, there's one horse that has won 3, Kingston Town, and Winx is looking to emulate him.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I saw an article, Neil, straight after last year's Cox Plate, you could have got $4 on Winx winning this year's Cox Plate. And I think some punters loaded up on the $4. Looks pretty good value now, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially if you were with Sportsbet, you'd be paid out already, wouldn't you? So, it's going to be fantastic to watch. 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Watch a champion in action. And last week we had the postponement of the Livermore, and the bookies are the only one cheering for Wait a Sec, I think, coming through on the inside.
Yeah, well judged ride by Jonathan Parkes. You got to say, Ginger Nuts had its chance, got to the outside in plenty of time, but Wait a Sec in a purple patch of form, too good, and kept a good day for the locals. They cleaned up, really. Him winning the Livermore and Miss Wilson winning the Red Badge Sprint as well on the day.
Here's something I thought about. I watched Jonathan Parkes on Wait a Sec, and he was pretty stuck to the whip rule pretty well, but he hit the horse 6 times with about 300 metres to go. And I'm picking that's why the stewards fined him $1,200 for misuse of the whip. If he'd only got up by half a nose or a whisker, it would have been interesting to see if Ginger Nuts Connections would have...
Didn't Opie get suspended as well, or fined for use of the whip?
Yeah, I think he was fined as well. That's a query too.
So they were both trying. You couldn't deny that.
Yeah, I'll definitely try. All right. So no, it just would have been interesting if Opie hadn't, I suppose. But if he hadn't, and he won by a whisker anyway, it's going to happen one day. I'm interested to see what's going to happen when it does. Yep.
Speaking of unusual things on race courses, first time I've seen this happen. It was a midweek Australian race, might have been on Wednesday, I think it was, where the owners of the horse declared 4th protested on the photo finish, and actually the placings were changed and their horse got promoted to dead heat 3rd. After the stewards then viewed the photo. So interesting, I'd never seen that happen before.
I remember there was something that the photo finish failed at Awapuni one day.
Awapuni, Mr. Ginger winning the first, well, it didn't win the first race, but when it failed, I think the trainer demanded to see a photo, and if they couldn't produce one, the judge had to declare a dead heat when it was pretty obvious the horse got beat about half a head on the line.
Yeah.
I remember that day I was on, so I wasn't complaining, Neil.
No, you wouldn't. On to the next race. Yeah. Pay out quick. Yeah, and Miss Wilson, she won really well, didn't she, at Hastings? Perfect run out, and she's looking good. Good stretch on her.
Yeah, she just spanked them.
Yep.
Would have been interesting. It was one of those days where Miss Wilson
You were too.
off the Livermore Day. What could have been, and their prices were a lot shorter than what they would have been on that particular day. But as you say, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I think he's a horse to look out for. Londara, he'll win a few more. And
right.
Miss Wilson, they might go to the Captain Cook. You never know. Next start at Wellington.
Yeah, I think he is going there. A natural step, you'd think, so why not? And just talking about Miss Wilson, she was crunched in from 380 into, 230.
Well, it's because you had 10,000 on him, Neil.
Can either confirm or deny. I'll definitely deny it. It wasn't me. Miss Wilson, she got crunched from, down to that price. But one of the biggest price movements I've seen for quite a while in sports betting, and I don't know if you've seen a bigger one, is when your big tip from a couple of weeks ago, North Harbour, -4.5. You tipped out the day before on Heads Up, and was it -17.5 they got out to before the start of the game?
Yeah, we did try to give listeners the heads up that Taranaki wouldn't be fielding a strong team. I think the bookies probably figured that rest maybe 4 or 5 players, but we were told that it was going to be more like 15, and that's what happened. And then the line just kept moving and moving, and I think North Harbour ended up winning by 30, so it's probably quite one of the most pain-free type of bets you would have had in a long time, and it was well received, I know, from certain quarters. We did get on and have got good multis running through a few different options.
Yep.
But hey, did it backfire on Taranaki in hindsight? They lost the semi-final. Were those players a bit rusty? They certainly looked a bit rusty in the first 10 or 15 minutes, so
yeah, mad done.
That's the way it goes. You're Tasman.
Yeah,
I'll concede a chocolate fish on that, even though we didn't do a podcast last week. I'm sure you would have been spruiking Tasman.
Definitely.
They got up by 1 point to beat Taranaki.
Yeah, no, it's a good game. I watched the last bit of that, and it was a good game. And we can touch on the semi-finals in part 3, but looking forward to that part. And boom time with Corey Parrish. Battling Kiwi, went over there, backed himself, and come up trumps. So good to see. I was on Johan Vermeer, and just goes to show a race can be lost, even though it was over 2,400 metres. A race can be lost at the start. Just missed a jump by half a length to a length. Ended up about 4 or 6 or 7 spots further back than they wanted to. Weaved his way through and flashed home for third. So definitely would have won.
You'd be happy to still be on him in the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah. He's got to be hard to beat. Got the breeding for it, but just leaving my Melbourne Cup selection until closer to the day. There's a lot of things to come up.
I heard a good stat in regards to Corey Parrish. I think he rode in New Zealand over 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And over those 10 seasons, the stake money his horses generated for the owners was 1.6 million. And in one race last Saturday, 1.6 million. So took 10 years to generate what he did in 2 and a bit minutes on Saturday. Quite bizarre, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, I'll give Winston a couple of years. We'll be on a level par. Fingers crossed. You never know.
No comment.
Okay, back with part 2 with a preview of a couple of good races on Saturday in the sec.
Unusual situation, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 thoroughbred meetings in the country tomorrow in our 3 main cities. We'll just focus on a couple of the bigger races in this section of Heads Up, and we'll start, Neil, with the Thompson Handicap, which is race 7 at Trentham. Not a bad field with Benzini, Amarula, Nashville, all good performing horses up the top, but the clear favourite is High Flyer, who's definitely the up-and-comer, and $2.10. Pretty short, but he certainly has a big motor, this horse.
He certainly does, doesn't he? He won well last start. There wasn't a lot of tempo, and Parks got him out into a midfield position, and he won well. But 2.10, and there's not a lot of pace in the race. He'd have to jump well again and be midfield. And I thought maybe 2.10 was a bit short, so I couldn't back him at that price. But I thought Amarula, terrific run last start, just missed the jump a wee bit, got back, and that was Miss Wilson's race, and it's sectional. And the way he hit the line, I thought it was a pretty good run. He's paying 9 and 265. He's going to be on the pace. Well, if he jumps well, he will be. But I thought he if he leads or sits second out on a moderate tempo, he's a half a chance of holding out High Fly. Maybe a case of backing Amarula and High Fly and seeing how you go. Do you concur?
I couldn't have High Flyer at $2.10. Yeah, tough to find one that would beat him though. So not a race I'd be getting too carried away on. But there is one I do like in our other feature race at Ellerslie, the Soliloquy Stakes, and this is for the 3-year-old fillies, race 7 at 3:58 p.m.
Yeah.
Dijon Blue came up favourite, right-handed first time at Ellerslie.
Oh, she's raced before. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, she did too. In the
battled okay.
That was in the on News Eclipse Stakes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From memory. Belle de Nord, that's the one I like.
Yeah, good filly.
Group 1 place, and I see track reports from coming out of Cambridge during the week was her work was first class, so third up now, so she should be pretty fit. Got the Australian apprentice on board, Zach Spain. This will be his first time riding in New Zealand, so
first time.
Good luck to him.
Is that who he is? From South Australia, is he? That's good to know.
Yeah, he rides South Australia mainly, but I'm sure he's got a few other rides on the day, so he'll get his bearings of going around Ellerslie on a couple in the early races, Peppermill and Blizzard, and hopefully he'll be ready to rock and roll with Belle de Nord in the Soliloquy Stakes.
More ground, and if she's training third up, she's got to be hard to beat. Money's come for a couple there, Princess Rihanna and Campara down the bottom. So it's going to be an interesting race, and I thought maybe for a real roughie, Contessa Vanessa back this way round, ran on nicely fresh up. She does obviously go best right-handed, so she could be one for your first fours. But yeah, Dijon Bleu, the way she's been winning, Lisa Lauder said she had a week off, which is the query. Had a week off after that one, and she need a run. So Belle de Nord.
Do you think anything in this field could get close to Prom Queen in the 1,000 guineas?
On her win last week, she was headed off and they tried to take her on. That saddle didn't slip on that horse either, too. And she was headed, came back and won with a leg in there in good time. I can't really see her getting beaten by none of those anyway. What do you think? No. She
seems to just be one of those horses that just knows how to win and keep winning, and even the 1600 at Riccarton I don't think will stop Prom Queen.
Yeah, she loves the track, so big advantage always round there. But how about the Chocolate Fish? Anything you can sniff out there?
Well, I don't know, Neil. My bet of the day is at Trentham, and it is in race number 6, and it is horse number 11, Jessie G. I think the improved track conditions will be in her favour, and I think she's a progressive mare, and I think she could be winning this race. Admittedly, it's a strong field, but you want to go head-to-head on something in that against Jessie G?
Yeah, well, I've got a daughter called Jessie, and I normally favour horses called Jessie in there. Great scientific form analysis, isn't it? But no, I think profile, I think, is perfectly set now. Hit the line nicely last start. Up to a mile should suit now, 3 kgs off. But as I did in my preview, which is up on the website, Jessie G is the main danger. But for a Chocolate Fish, I'm more than happy to take you on there. So, okay, and for a Chocolate Fish. And Cox Plate, anything you're keen on there to maybe for a place or Quinella?
Nah, to be honest, I haven't studied it as too carefully.
I think.
Let me see.
Happy Clapper maybe, but I think he's probably had enough now. And Galo Chopper lead, but Royal Symphony, I think 49 and a half, he's got some chance of getting within 5 lengths of Winks and maybe running the Quinella. So, but it's probably a race you'd just watch and enjoy, isn't it really? But Humidor, the blinkers are going on Humidor, so if they want him a bit quieter, he could be in there as well. But no, good race, and back with part 3 with the sports preview in a sec. Okay, back with part 3, the sports preview, and last week a lot of us would have seen the Aussies kick the All Blacks backsides, and bit of psychology behind that wind don't you think? Money shot, it just a funny old game, and you got any thoughts on how the players went into that match?
I guess a couple of factors at play. Firstly, the All Blacks didn't need to win. They'd wrapped up the Bledisloe Cup. But I think also, if you go back and look at the team that beat the Wallabies in that equivalent fixture at Eden Park last year, where they set the record for, or equalled the record, I think it was, for most consecutive wins, there's about 11 changes from that team to the team that played on Saturday night. So it was an understrength All Black side. I know we're developing depth, but probably those two factors combined to see the result. I must admit I wasn't totally surprised by it. I didn't actually watch the game, Neil. I went to bed with my tail between my legs after Taranaki had lost, so I was kind of quite pleased that I didn't actually watch it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But it was one of those games. Hey, at the end of the day, no one's going to care about that game.
That's right.
If the All Blacks win the World Cup or defend the Bledisloe Cup for another X number of years, etc. So it's just one of those games where, as Steve Hansen would say, you just got to flush it down the dunny.
That's right. And say goodbye. Now, another World Cup that's coming up this weekend, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, is the Rugby League World Cup. Australia are $1.18 favourites to win it overall. Have the bookies got it wrong, or they got it over?
No, they'll be winning it, no doubt about that. Quality right across the park.
Yeah.
New Zealand in a bit of disarray. England probably not good enough at this point in time to win. And probably Fiji, Tonga, Samoa probably don't have the calibre of players required to beat Australia, so they'll be winning. I thought the best bet of the first round of games this weekend is Papua New Guinea at home, Port Moresby up against Wales. And I see the lines moving out to, what's it now, is it 19 and a half?
18 and a half,
18 and a half still.
Yeah.
So Rugby League World Cup, Papua New Guinea v Wales, that's on tomorrow at 6 p.m. I thought they'd do a demolition job of Wales, so that's option 2046, number 3, 18 and a half at $1.87. At home, pretty tricky conditions, the heat, the Papua New Guineans, the Comores will be right at home, and I think they've been playing together in the Queensland competition, so I think they'll be too strong for Wales, who don't really have a lot of named players in their side, to be fair, so get on PNG to start the tournament with a bang.
That's a good one. I presume that'll be televised too?
All games live, yes. All games live, so
that's good.
You'll be able to watch your money go round there, Neil.
Yeah, no, I'll watch that. And draw my league. So
you better flick over and watch Winks. Don't want you to miss that. That'll be about half time anyway, so that'll work it perfectly.
Would be too, yeah. And the rugby tomorrow, anything worth backing at this stage? Good find?
Well, the Canterbury haven't named their side yet, so I'm a bit reluctant to tip them. They should be winning if Mo'unga plays first 5.
Yeah.
I thought tonight's game, the Wellington Lions, they have been the form team right throughout the competition. Just the way they play, they're very, very structured and very, very quick to pounce on teams' mistakes. I think Wellington will cover that 14.5-point start against Bay of Plenty tonight.
Yeah.
Just too much class across the field at home, and I think Wellington will be, come Saturday morning, they'll be back in the top division. That's just to give you the right option number, option 2004. It's Wellington minus 15.5 at $1.87.
Yeah.
Selection 3.
That's
probably your best bet. Yeah, it has moved one. Open at 14.5, gone to 15.5. But yeah, I think Wellington's the way to go there.
Good. Okay. And nothing else? No other sports worth mentioning?
No, pretty quiet. But there's a bit of golf going on.
I see.
The World WGC, quite a good time when they play in Asia. Sort of the last, they're on the last hole about 7, 8 o'clock at night, so it's easy watching.
It is too.
But no, kind of we're in going to be into that silly season where this summer codes are kicking off and the winter codes are winding down. So we might, after this weekend, we might just keep the queue in the rack for a few weeks around the sports tips and focus on the racing.
Yep, you're right. Okay, back with part 4 in a sec with the multi-question and our brickbats and bouquets.
Time now for part 4, where we give out our brickbats and our bouquets, and we give away some money in the multi-comp. Neil, I think you've got a bit of a brickbat against a commentator.
Yes, well, as we know, a commentator is sort of the front, like the shop front of racing, and George Simon and Tony Lee and Mark McNamara, all terrific personalities and sell racing and make it exciting and interesting. But chap in Queensland, Josh Fleming, took over from Al Thomas eventually, and it just turns me off racing. I can't even listen to the guy commentator. It's that irritating. He goes through it too quickly, doesn't talk about the tempo, often it doesn't put up a picture. It just turns you off racing. So I'm just surprised they've appointed someone like that to a crucial point in racing. Anyway, that was my brickbat. We can't do much about it from here, but anyway. Al Thomas was great, wasn't he? A great commentator, and always keen man to follow the favourites, if you want it.
He certainly let you know where the favourite was in the call, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he was good. He was top commentator, wasn't he? Terrific. Knew his racing, loved his racing, and it was fantastic.
Bruce Sherwin, he's underutilised. Just listening to a couple of his calls today at Pukekohe. He's a very good caller. Obviously, he has other commitments, etc. But yeah, he would not go amiss if he was calling regularly, and he'd be top drawer as well.
Yeah, it was a great feel for a race, doesn't it? You know, tempo and where the main chances are and how they're going, etc. Really good. And
have you got anything? Have you got a bouquet for us, Neil?
Bouquet? Oh, I just can't think of anything at the moment.
Actually, I've got one.
What do you got?
Well, I was at Te Rapa on Monday, and they've opened the new third floor. So that's above their newly refurbished members' lounge, where there used to be the corporate boxes and the sweet little suites up the very top. There's now just one big open lounge with a couple of viewing platforms / decks out the front. Very nice facilities, great viewing spot. So big ups to Te Rapa for that facility. And I think the Punters Challenge on the 11th of November get to frequent that particular lounge on that day too, Neil. So it'd be a good place to be on that day if you haven't got anything else to do to come along to Te Rapa on the 11th of November.
Sounds good. And we can't not mention BT Junior last Monday, Labour Day. I thought he just got beaten. I was surprised the connections of You Want More didn't ask to see the photo, because I thought he got beaten, but he didn't. So that was a nice return for you. And I see Sean's quite keen to head on towards the Metropolitan. Is it first up or next up?
Metropolitan on the first day, which is the 11th of November, and all things going well, on to the New Zealand Cup on the 18th. I think he's equal favourite now.
Shivers. No, he's got to be a good chance too, doesn't he? I remember Danielle saying 3 or 4 months ago that he was going to be better in about 6 months, be stronger and so on. So
she'll be the one riding him. So
good.
There you go. We'll see what happens. No, the horse is literally going from strength to strength. It doesn't look an overly strong field at this point in time. So we're ever hopeful, Neil. Ever hopeful.
Yeah. And next Saturday we've got races at Tauranga, and I've been asked to run the Punters Club there, where people put in buy $10 tickets. Is it?
Yep. The On-Course Punters Club. Neil Davis from Form Pro is the man for the Punters Clubs at Tauranga this year. You'll be tweeting out results, you'll be updating everyone, but I think you should let subscribers join in the fun if they want to.
Oh, definitely. I think I'll put it out there early in the week. I have a TAB account people can put $10 or more into, and I'll be punting it up from races, I think race 2 or race 3, up until the second to last race there next Saturday. Having a go at trifectas and quaddies and whatever we can to make a good amount. So get into that, I'll let you know about that.
No pressure, Neil, no pressure.
Oh, yeah, well, there we go. Just a good bit of fun, but I'll be doing my best. And, the multi-question. Last week, Murray came oh so close with Miss Wilson and Ginger Nuts. And so this week, what have you got for the listeners this week for the chance to multi-bet?
We better make it a pretty easy one, eh?
Yep.
We talked about Kingston Town, the only horse at this point in time to have won 3 Cox Plates.
Yep.
The question is, how many different jockeys rode Kingston Town in those 3 Cox Plates? So you've got multi-choice. Was it 1, 2 or 3? So get your answer. If you don't know, just have a guess. And get your answer via text or email to Neil, and you could be winning a free multi this week.
Yeah, text me on 027 352 6402 or formpro@formpro.co.nz. Make it by 10 p.m. Because I'll be tied up until about then. So if I'm late getting back to you or Saturday morning, don't worry, I'll answer.
You won't be figuratively tied up, will you, Neil?
Maybe.
Just need to clarify that. Need to clarify that for the listeners.
No, I hope not. It's going to be a good night. Looking forward to it. And
you might be tied up then.
I'll tell you about it after we go off here.
I don't want to know about it.
No. It's all in good fun. And the Form Pro ratings, don't forget, are free on Monday for the sectionals. No, not for the sectionals, just for the ratings and speed maps for the greyhounds. So look out for those. They're very popular on Monday. So looking forward to a really good weekend, and hope you all make plenty of money and good punting and make plenty.